Everybody rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows the war is over. Everybody knows the good guys lost.
That's right.
Everybody knows the fight was fixed.
But the bottom line is the people do know now. They're not living in denial. And so the globalists want to shut down free talk radio and the internet, but also taxes on TV, taxes on advertising. It's the government, state-owned, controlled, lapdog media. And, of course, most media will pile on to be cronies and get their tax exemption. But after they're done taking over the media, they'll then take the tax exemption away. I know, have you noticed they're now announcing they're getting rid of many tax exemptions for churches and other organizations? After they got you domesticated, you don't get the tax exemption. It's illegal. It's unlawful. But, hey, it's illegal and unlawful to have the government running health care or to have the federal government involved in gun control. This stuff's all unconstitutional. It's illegal for the government to steal tens of trillions of dollars and give it to foreign banks and then tell you, the Congress, the people's representative, that they won't tell you where the money went. So I'm reading this editorial, FTC floats drudge tax. Journalism can't reinvent itself without government help. And it goes on, a 5% tax on consumer electronic devices such as iPads, Kindles, laptops. So a tax on knowledge. And it goes on, and it says taxes levied on radio, television, spectrum, advertising, and cell phones. You know, they love those hidden taxes. You ever get your cell phone bill and there's all these added fees to the state and the feds, and, you know, one of them, Al Gore, got passed decades ago. This is how they rip you off. And then they give it to their own quasi-government media, like the Obama girl. The conflict of interest in having the government pay or contribute to a newsman's salary could not be more obvious. Reporters and columnists would have little incentive to offer critical analysis of tax incentives that might mean a boost in their pocketbook. Once Congress has the power to fund the news, it can at any time attach strings designed to promote certain viewpoints in the name of fairness, of course, which they're already proposing. Each year at budget time, the Fourth Estate would scramble to be worthy in the eyes of Capitol Hill for increased support. It is hardly a surprise that the heavily subsidized national public radio frequency presents issues in a way favorable to Washington's tax and spend agenda. Yeah, no kidding. So, in the age of media, and in the age of thousands of choices, we need the government to tax it and run it and have a government megaphone through the media. And they now admit what I told you 15 years ago. They call it behavior placement. And you watch any Hollywood movie, big budget movie, you watch any TV show, it's all anti-gun, anti-family, pro-world government, pro-vaccination, pro-surveillance, pro-police state, anti-homeschool. It's on record. 8 years ago, the Congress talked about tens of billions being spent for fake news. The General Accounting Office and others said it was illegal that Bush was doing that. Obama has gone to levels never before seen, where ABC and NBC and CBS have been on record saying we've handed programming over to the White House for their messages. Ladies and gentlemen, all over the country, they train kids that the earth is dying and that developments kill bunny rabbits, literally. They show images of bunny rabbits with their heads cut off, and then children cry when they see a house being built and come home and tell their parents don't take a hot bath and boss them around and tell them don't run the water while you brush your teeth. They're taking your children away from you. It's total brainwashing everywhere. Self-respecting journalists must reject the tempting government bribe as the FCTC brings its proposals to a roundtable discussion scheduled for June 15th. When it comes to the media, consumers lose most when government suppresses innovation in the name of saving old business models. So, the New York Times is on the verge of collapsing. The San Francisco Chronicle is on the verge of collapsing. All these other big papers are collapsing. Folks, if those papers gave people the news and information they wanted, they'd be doing great. Okay? People, and of course, Rupert Murdoch has said this. He's going to subscriber-based, and he'll be able to have a good model. But the truth is that people don't want this government brainwashing, but regardless, it's illegal. The government does not control the media in the United States. Yes, they do in Zimbabwe. Yes, they do in communist China to a certain extent. this is more draconian than even that. And I wanted to add, the Cybersecurity Act that's passed the House and in the Senate states ISPs, Internet service providers with over 100 customers, will be under full federal control and will have EAS, Homeland Security control boxes in their switches, and you will pay for it. Now, for those that don't know, in '96, all radio stations went from dialing to a central emergency channel to having at their tower and at their final relay center everything wired through a FEMA control box. The Internet, every sector of the web, and by the way, China already has something similar and it slows it down big time. That's another problem. That's what Congress has raised. It's the problem that it's going to screw it up. That anyone with an IT job must have a government certification and pay to go get an additional at least 12 months of continuing education and be licensed as a federal agent. Just like CPAs. I can't hire a CPA. I mean, I still pay the tax. I choose my enemies. We didn't have it until 1913. It's a tax to offshore banks, just like what Greece is paying is to offshore banks. Yes, we've been captured. Yes, it's illegal. Yes, I shouldn't be doing it. But I run a pretty big operation, and I choose my battles, and I know they're the mafia. They'll come after me. But still, I go into CPAs, and I say, I want my tax exemptions it says I get. And every CPA says, I'm sorry, for 4 years, we're now under federal control, and we're liable for anything, so we give them extra money. I mean, just everything is about serving and worshiping and paying more than you're even supposed to. And so that's the new system. Just everyone a federal officer, everyone under federal control, everyone forced to sign articles of confederation agreeing, waiving your rights. and hundreds of federal and international officials and Time Magazine and Newsweek and the New York Times saying, we want to shut the old web down, have Internet 2 with only approved websites. Oh, it's coming. And they're already building the new hubs that we won't be allowed on because we're kicking their butts. It'd be like an NFL team that always won the Super Bowl. They might just finally disqualify them. It's like a rollerball or something where they say, you know, Houston isn't allowed to win anymore. You're not allowed to win, Jones. You're not allowed to kick the butt of the New World Order. You're not allowed to expose and rout the media. You're not allowed to have 3 million visitors a week to your websites and growing exponentially because they have seen the math. They have seen the numbers. Folks, I have moles in Bilderberg. It's in the London Guardian what the moles have reported. The Guardian was in there hours after they shut the resort down. Security threw them out, but not before they were walking around saying, we are scared of Alex Jones. He isn't coming, is he? Oh, my gosh, you should have seen him bull harness. They're so scary. These people are scared to death of the truth. They know the crimes they've committed. They know what they've done. They understand what they're up against. They understand we're committed. They know we're not going away. We know that we can beat them. And they know that we know their game plan. Oh, you know, I'm going out to break here. And I may not even take calls today. I usually take calls, but I really got a lot I want to cover. And we have this, you know, what did I tell you? In January of last year, that's 18 months ago. What did I tell you 18 months ago? It's on record. Podcasts are there. The articles are there. The video cast is there. Because I had emergency managers call me from Indiana. And I had the Indiana newspaper on. And people called me from upstate New York. And I was sent the Bureau of Cemeteries internal secret documents that were confirmed to be real. Later, by the national news. Just like we've broken thousands of other major reports because we get this the intel. And the government said flu is coming, millions will die, there will be martial law. So in January, 3 months before the flu hype started in Mexico, I went on air and said they're going to launch some type of flu hype and they're training for martial law. I don't know if this is going to be real or not. I don't know if there'll be really a deadly flu, but they're gearing up like never before, and law enforcement and emergency managers are concerned. They're saying harden your police stations, get ready for martial law. Then the flu hype came. Then we analyzed the attack and said it was a fake fraud to get you to take the shots and that the shots were deadly. Now, the head of the EU Medical Commission came on this show and said their hearing found it was a fraud. Now, the British Medical Journal has come out and said it's a fraud. That's coming up in the next hour for 30 minutes, and then we'll get to, I guess, Francesco, Jeff, Eddie, and many others that are patiently holding. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a syndicated radio host, and I run Infowars.com and PresentPlanet.com, and I bleed deep red blood, and I love freedom, and I love humanity, and I know you do as well, and I know we can beat these people together. They wouldn't be trying to shut down our free speech and overthrow the First Amendment if we weren't absolutely routing this scum. We can win together, but the battle is now joined. Stay with us. Transmission continues.